What's up? It's Marty 1983 and you are in the Nerd Nest. Merry Christmas, everyone. I promised that I would have a special video up in time for the holiday, and, well, I just got it up today. Anyway, I hope you are all having a wonderful, safe Christmas with your family and your friends. And I know things are tough right now, but we're going to be all right, I think. Fingers crossed. Anyway, let's not talk about that. It's time for another edition of 15-Minute Game Show Reviews. As my present to you, I am reviewing a kids' game show from 1987 that eventually found a new audience when it was rerun in the 90s on cable. Basically, you take the Newlywed Game, you make it G-rated, replace the married couples with siblings, and you watch them embarrass the hell out of each other on live TV, and then have to deal with teasing at school the following Monday. But I digress. Yes, it's time to review I'm Telling!
It's I'm Telling! The exciting new game show where brothers and sisters tell it like it is! There's no telling what they're going to say or how much they're going to win. All we know for sure is they're going to tell it all today on... And here's the host of I'm Telling, Lori Fuzzo!
Thank you, and welcome to I'm Telling, where brothers and sisters can win a galaxy of prizes and money too, simply by revealing the good and the not-so-good aspects of growing up together.
Here's a show some of you may have forgotten even existed. Basically, you take the Newlywed Game, tone it down to be age-appropriate, have 3 teams of siblings answer questions to see what they know about each other or don't know about each other, and the team with the most points went on to win some prizes in what was called the Pick a Prize Arcade. I'm Telling was actually a joint venture of 2 of the biggest studios for the kids shows in the 1980s and 90s, Deke, not Dick, which brought us Inspector Gadget, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and the original dub of Sailor Moon, and Saban, which would later be known as the studio that brought us X-Men, Power Rangers, and Digimon. The show premiered on NBC on September 12, 1987, and ran on Saturday mornings until March 5, 1988, for a total of 26 episodes. Reruns aired on the Family Channel, now Freeform, off and on, from 1989 to 1996. The host was Lawrence or Lori Faso. Born in Buffalo, New York in 1946, Laurie is better known for his voice work, with his most famous role being that of Raphael in 1991's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Other shows many Gen X, Zennial, and Millennial kids might have heard his voice on include Snorks, Transformers, Gem and the Holograms, Paw-Paws, Rubik the Amazing Cube, Sectars, Shirt Tales, Mon-Chi-Chis, and even a couple episodes of the anime Vampire Princess Miyu. The announcer was Dean Goss, who was born in Santa Clara, California in 1949, and was the announcer for the all-new Let's Make a Deal from 1984 to 86, High Rollers with Wink Martindale in 1987 and 88, the infamous Bargain Hunters with Peter Tamarkin, and he also sub-announced on the $100,000 Pyramid in the 1980s. The game was played like this. 3 teams of kids competed, each often consisting of a brother and sister, though they sometimes had Brother's Day and Sister's Day, but for simplicity's sake, we'll just go with the standard pairings of boy and girl sibs. In round 1, the brothers were teleported to the isolation zone using crappy special effects and a video edit, i.e., they were just taken off stage to a soundproof room. They just wanted to make it look cool. Spoiler alert, it was not. Anyway, once they were off stage, starting with the leftmost sister, one of 3 pun-styled categories was chosen at random by hitting a plunger, and Lori would read a question loosely based on the chosen category. Here's an example.
Randy, what's something that your brother seems to need more of than you? Is it sleep, food, or help with his homework?
3 questions were played, with each sister choosing one category, and all 3 sisters responded to every question. After the sisters' answers were recorded, the brothers were brought back on stage and then asked the same 3 questions. If the brother's response matched his sister's, the team scored points. 25 for the first question, 50 for the second, and 75 for the third. If the answers didn't match, no points were awarded. And just like on the Newlywed Game, which inspired it, the siblings would argue with each other. Round 2 was played in the same manner, but with the sisters taken off stage and the brothers now providing the initial answers. Question values were increased to 50, 75, and 150 points, meaning the maximum score a team could get was 425 points. The game continued until both rounds were completed, or one team had built up too much of a lead that the other teams couldn't catch up. The highest scoring team received a $1,000 savings bond and went to the Pick-a-Prize arcade for a chance to win bonus prizes. The other teams each received consolation prizes, including a copy of the I'm Telling home game, which you can now get on eBay and try it out on your own kids and their friends, although the questions might be out of date and there won't be anything about Fortnite, Mr. Beast, or 6-7.
6-7!
Yeah, kill me now. Anyway, if 2 or all 3 teams were tied for first place after the second round, a tiebreaker question was asked to determine the winner. For the show, the producers filled a large container with many of the same objects as seen in this clip here, and that each team wrote down their guess at the actual number. Whichever team came closest to the actual number without going over won the game. If they all went over, then the team that was least over won. At the end of the game, the set was rotated 180 degrees to reveal the Pick-a-Prize arcade. 20 prizes were displayed, 10 designated for each sibling. The boys' prizes sat on yellow platforms while the girls sat on pink ones, and a strobe light and a push button were placed next to each prize. Before the show, each sibling chose the 6 prizes that he or she thought the other would most like to have. The prizes varied from show to show, but they were usually things most tweens in the 1980s would want, such as a new bike, tickets to Disneyland, video games, a cordless phone, and the like. Anyway, the home audience was shown one sibling's 6 choices, after which the other one selected up to 6 prizes by pushing their buttons. Each time the siblings' choices matched, a siren sounded, and the light next to that prize flashed, and they won that prize. After both siblings had taken a turn, the team won all the prizes they had matched, but if they had made at least 10 matches between the 2 of them, they won all 20 prizes. As I mentioned earlier, while most shows featured brother and sister teams, special episodes were aired in order to accommodate siblings of the same gender, known as Brother's Day or Sister's Day, in which the team would either be all boys or all girls. In addition, young stars from NBC's primetime series of the time also played with their real-life siblings for charity on 2 episodes known as Celebrity Day. In the celebrity episodes, the winning team would have $500 in cash donated to the charity of their choice in lieu of the $1,000 savings bond, in addition to the cash value of the correctly matched prizes in the Pick-a-Prize arcade. If 10 were correctly matched, the value of all 20 prizes would be donated. And that is how I'm Telling was played. Now I'm going to tell you what grade I'm going to give it. Well, this was an interesting game show. I can't really put it into words, and it's not too original, as it was basically a kid's version of the Newlywed Game. But needless to say, it was G-rated, and they asked questions about how much siblings knew or didn't know about each other, and they would always fight and argue if they got the questions wrong. I mean, it wasn't an exact copy of the Newlywed Game, as they used a different scoring system, and there were only 3 teams instead of 4, although later revivals of Newlywed used 3 couples. As a result, I'm Telling loses points for originality, but it was still interesting to watch. Although if I was on that show, I'd probably be embarrassed to hell and back if I got into an argument with my sibling on this show. Then again, my siblings were older than me and adults by the time I was able to be on TV. Yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, the kids at school would never let me live it down. Also, saying that the kids were teleported to the isolation zone was just dumb. We all knew they were just taken off stage. They could have just been honest. Besides, if teleportation is ever possible someday, I don't think it'll ever be used on a game show. But I digress. Now, the Pick-a-Prize arcade was interesting, and it gave kids a chance to win some nice prizes, although I would have liked to have seen them get a bonus prize for getting 10 matches. I also would like to have seen them winning more money, and not just as a savings bond. As for host, Lori Fossa was okay. He's not as good as Mark Summers or J.D. Roth, but he did fine, and he was better than Skip Lackey on Think Fast. But for the most part, he was just there. But for this kind of show, that's fine. He did all right. But some people do better behind the camera than in front of it, and he was better as a voice actor than a game show host. That being said, I'm Telling loses points for being a G-rated version of the Newlywed Game, which probably resulted in kids having to spend several years in therapy. But it was still a decent show, and it gave away some cool prizes, so I'm going to give it a B. Now the part where I talk about how I'd revive the show if given the chance. The game would be played the same as the original, but the starting positions would be determined before the show with each team drawing numbers. I also wouldn't resort to using cheap special effects and teleporting the kids to the ISO zone, but that has nothing to do with the gameplay. And instead of having 3 different categories for the kids to randomly choose from, I'd have 3 categories throughout the round. The team that played first would pick the first of the 3 categories, the second team would pick from the remaining 2, and the third team would get what was left. Instead of points, the main game would be played for cash, with the questions being worth $50, $100, and $150 in round 1, and then doubled in round 2. All teams would keep their money, but the winning team would win an extra $1,000, and if they got a perfect score, they'd win $2,000 total. The tiebreaker, if necessary, would also be the same. The Pick-a-Prize arcade would be played for the same prizes, but if the winning team correctly matched 10 prizes, not only do they win all 20 of them, they also win a bonus prize, such as a family trip anywhere in the world that they told the producers before the show. As for the host, I'd go with somebody like Mikey Day, Liza Koshy, or George Kittle. The announcer could either be Joey Fatone, Rich Fields, or Burton Richardson. Anyway, that's my most recent edition of 15-Minute Game Show Reviews. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, smash the like button, follow me on Space. You know everything by now. Anyway, I really hope you have everyone watching, everyone who subscribed. I am grateful for your support. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and we have a happy and better New Year. God bless you all. Until next time, I'm Marty in 1983 and I'm logging out of the Nerd Nest.